We got quite a bit of important Tesla stock news today. We even got a leak of what seems like a new vehicle that Tesla is working on. We'll get to that in a minute, as well as other big news stories of today. For example, Elon Musk actually made a huge announcement today. But first, let's get to this. This is a Cybertruck news story. These are Cybertruck castings. It was posted by someone who claims to know a person who works at the Texas plant. Jordan from The Limiting Factor does have some good technical expertise, although we will really be waiting for Sandy Monroe to comment on this. But he says what we see there looks like it's load bearing, so technically not an exoskeleton. But I'm not going to completely write off the exoskeleton thing yet. At best, it's some kind of a hybrid approach. If none of the external parts of a vehicle are actually bearing a load, there would be no reason to use 3mm thick stainless steel. It's also worth noting that one important facet is the doors. Tesla has a patent for an exoskeleton door, so it may be that Tesla was overstating the case at the unveil, and maybe just the doors don't have an internal frame. Generally though, the reaction seems to be mostly positive, but I would like to wait until Sandy Monroe comments on the specifics. The $7,500 federal tax credit in the US, we know, is available for all Model 3s and also Model Ys, but now Tesla's website says that reductions to tax credits are likely after December 31st. The way it is written, it makes you think that both the Model 3 and the Model Y could face reductions. However, if I look at the Model Y, it doesn't say anything about any possible reductions here. On the other hand, if I look at the Model 3, I do see that Tesla does say reductions are likely for this vehicle. So it appears that this will only affect the Model 3 and it is not guaranteed. The wording specifically says reductions are likely. The way it is written, it does not say it will happen, it just says it is likely to happen. But Tesla does have quite a bit of time before then to maybe make some moves that could possibly avoid this from happening. Also, by then, we will probably most likely have the refreshed Model 3 out in production. So while this is something to certainly watch out for, I don't think this is really going to have much of an effect on Tesla. Over the past 4 weeks, the average Wall Street price target for Tesla stock has moved from $195 to $228 now. Citigroup just made an exceptionally brave move and increased their Tesla stock price target from $215 to $278, but they kept their rating as neutral. So they literally just put their Tesla stock price target exactly where Tesla stock was earlier this morning. Now let's talk about a new prototype that has been spotted, which has some resemblance to this, which we have seen a few years ago. You can clearly see that this has a Tesla logo. Well, it's really just a standard Tesla steering wheel. And this is supposedly a leaked video of the secret Tesla van prototype designed for Elon Musk's Vegas loop. So that's for the Boring Company, which is operating in Las Vegas. So it seems like it has quite a few seats. I think it has 12, if I'm not mistaken, including the driver's seat. And obviously this is still a very early stage prototype and someone could just be, playing with us. But I'm also not exactly sure if it has 12 seats. Clearly right here we have 4 seats. On the other side, though, I only see 2. I assume there are 2 more seats there, and maybe you could put more seats over there. But certainly at least 10 seats are currently in that prototype. Because this is for the Boring Company, which Elon Musk owns, it's not really clear. Is it really Tesla that is working on this prototype, or is it mostly the Boring Company, or is it a joint venture of some sort? We don't know. Right now, really, we'll find out later in the future. Or maybe this could be the first glimpse into what is supposed to be, perhaps, a Tesla van. Maybe they will share some parts with each other. Tesla stock investors will love this story. The roof is on fire over at Volkswagen, seemingly, says James, except that is actually the CEO of Volkswagen saying that. Check this out. The CEO of Volkswagen expressed in a speech to managers his frustration with the declining demand for electric vehicles, stating that the company's vehicle business was sick and that the roof is on fire. The CEO called his speech the final wake-up call and implemented an immediate spending freeze except for essential investments. And at this point, I totally would not be surprised at all if they said that investing into EVs is not essential, so therefore we are cutting our investment into EVs. I mean, the market says we don't want your EVs, so why should we make EVs? This is great news. The Society of Automobile Engineers has voted unanimously to form a task force to expedite its next standardization process, which is the Tesla charger, and thinks that this process could finish by the end of the year much earlier than we expected. And we have more good news overall for the macro economy. We have good CPI numbers across the board. Year over year, it is now at 3%. In April, we were at almost 5%. Then in May, we were at 4%. And now we are down to 3%. This is beautiful. If indeed the inflation was transitory, this would be really good for Tesla stock because the interest rates are likely not to go up a whole lot more if they do go up from here, and actually they are quite likely to go down even. If the rates go down, then tech stocks, growth stocks are likely to rally again big time, and also buying a vehicle would be easier because the rates would just be lower, so you can afford more car for the same monthly payment. We just reached an important milestone in China. Giga Shanghai has just produced 1 million Model Ys in total from the beginning of production. Tesla stock investors will also love to see this. Lucid announced today that it delivered 1,404 vehicles in Q2 compared to 1,406 vehicles in Q1, which makes this last quarter slightly worse. They delivered 2 vehicles less this last quarter than in Q1, but their production actually suffered a little bit more. Their production went down from 2,300 to just a bit under 2,200. And Lucid investors, they are selling their Lucid stock. The stock is down almost 12% in one single day, which is nothing, by the way, compared to the loss if we look at Lucid's all-time high and the present moment. Yeah, Lucid stock is down 86.5%. Ouch. Elon today also made a special announcement. He announced the formation of xAI to understand reality. Elon is saying here, and what are the most fundamental unknown questions? Once you know the right question to ask, the answer is often the easy part, as my hero Douglas Adams would say. And, yeah, 42 is the answer, I guess, he says. There will be a Twitter Spaces chat to meet the team and ask them questions, and the team looks pretty strong. This is also a separate company from X, which is Twitter basically right now, although they will work closely together. What does this mean to us Tesla stock investors? Well, overall, as a human being, I like this news. As a Tesla stock investor, well, if let's say we pay attention to the Tesla bot and let's say we assume there's going to be some significant value in the future from the Tesla bot, we have to think about what is more important. Is it the software that goes into the Tesla bot, or is it the making of the physical bot, or is it a combination of both? Which one is more important though? I would possibly say that making the actual bot, while it is absolutely important, I think maybe that is not the most important part. The software that will go into the bot is going to perhaps be more important in the long term. Think about this. If Tesla was now working on full self-driving, I don't think I would be as invested into Tesla stock as I am right now. So having this other AI company that is not a part of Tesla is good or not really good for Tesla? That's a question. Now, what is important to understand here is maybe there wasn't really another way to really do this well. Maybe you need to give options to these people, stock options. You need to give them a percentage of the company, and you can't really give, let's say, 5% of Tesla to someone anymore because the company is huge and it is quite difficult to, let's say, increase Tesla's valuation by 50 times because Tesla is already one of the biggest companies in the whole world. But if you're working on a startup, it's not all that really impossible to increase the valuation of the startup by, let's say, 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, 1,000 times even. So if you remember in a video a few months ago, I talked about this and I thought it is more likely that Elon is going to create a separate company that is not basically inside of Tesla that will work on AI. And maybe, and this is my assumption, Tesla and xAI in the future will work closely together. It's just that Tesla would probably not own it. Although if Tesla did own at least a portion of it, I would be extremely happy. The good part about all of this is if you go to this company's website, it specifically says that this company will closely work with Twitter as well as Tesla specifically. So Tesla, I think, will benefit from this in the future. We got more Tesla stock news that Tesla stock bears will absolutely hate to hear. The application documents for the expansion of Giga Berlin will be made public next week. This part of the expansion will double the vehicle production capacity for which a new big production building will be built. The battery production capacity will also be doubled. And YouTube wants you to watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this Elon Musk interview, watch this one first. My name is Mal Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.